Good afternoon, Wicked Edge Expert Corner Group. This is Mark, and we're on YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Facebook. And we're here today. I'm trying to make a series of videos for the new Wicked Edge user. And we just went through clamping the knife in order to find the angle, to match the angle. And we never talked about sweet spot. And I want to show you how that came about. Sweet spot is the clamping position that we find that allows our stones to contact the knife edge across the length from the heel to the tip. It's a balanced position. Tip down, tip up, handle down, handle up, forward on the center line, back on the center line. Has to do with the curve of the knife. Has to do with the thickness and the taper of the knife. The process that I showed you, that's something that we came up with users before me, and I adapted adopted the process and adapted it to my use and continue to use it. And that takes the sweet spot into consideration. But I wanted to go with, I'm going to take this knife out. We know we have it marked with the marker. I'm going to put it back in because I do want to sharpen it. But I want to start with another knife and don't do the balance and show you how the sweet spot comes about by using a marker. Here is another practice knife, and just because I have it handy, we're going to put it level with the bottom of the knife and just clamp it without any kind of thought to what we're doing. Because we're trying to use a marker now to steer us to the best clamping position. So we have the knife clamped up. Looks nice, straight for the newcomer. Seems pretty strong. We're going to put the marker on here. Now, when you're trying to find the sweet spot, the same process. Use your finest grit stone you want to work on, because all we're looking to do is just remove that blue ink. Let's look at this again. I tried to move the lamp so that it's not reflecting so bad. This knife I can see is not, for a practice knife, it doesn't, either someone sharpened it or didn't practice on it. But you can see the blue on the bevel out to the tip. Clamped it, no thought to it, just clamped it up nicely. Now, with this in a very fine stone, in a coarse position out wide, just for kicks, (26 degrees. I wanted to see how wide. And all I'm going to do is lightly scrub the tip. And the way this knife is clamped forward like that, it's flexing a little on the tip. Listen to me. When it's clamped forward like that, my stone is on here, it's flexing on the tip. Maybe that's why we clamp it in the center. It holds it tighter on both sides. Yes, that is why. Okay, This is at 26 degrees. We can see where the blue and the silver come together. The silver on top of the blue at 26 degrees is at the top of the bevel. And I'm going to come over to here. Now, as we get out further, it's coming almost halfway. And now as we come up to the tip, the ink looks to me almost obliterated across the tip. More showing one place, less showing another place. Where the ink is still showing, the stone didn't contact it. Where the ink is now removed, that's where the stone contacted. We're trying to move the knife now underneath so that it will be where the stone contacted it with the first painting. Right now it's at the top. Just right at the very top. So in order to get that stone more coverage down lower, you have two choices. You either bring the stone down or you bring the knife where the stone, bring the knife up where the stone is. We use the marking where it paints and where it's going to steer us in to move it back and forth to find the sweet spot. And it takes a little bit of practice. It is easier sometimes to use the black marker because it does stay on better. The blue and the red are more translucent and you can see through them and it's confusing. The black marker, even though it gets lost in the shadow, when you're trying to find the sweet spot, it may be easier to work with the black because then, let me see if I have a black marker here to show you. Let me show you again. Now it's blackened out, and when we now we can see where it removed the black paint right above it. So the silver above the black is showing me that's where the knife and the stone are meeting. So if I want to remove the black down below, I either have to move the stone down or move the knife up. And you compare it here as compared to here, as compared to here, as compared to there. And that gives you an idea of how to teeter the knife and move the knife forward and backwards in order to optimize that contact. After that contact is optimized, that steers you to your clamping position. Then you can lock it up, repaint it, and then start out wide and dial it in like I did in the first video, in order to match the angle. The sweet spot, I have learned my clamping method that others did before me. That helps to take all that into consideration, what we're doing with the marker. So a lot of times you get it dead on by doing that. It's when you have a drop point, a recurve, a tanto or something that you have more tip action that it becomes more of an issue where you clamp the knife. The gentle method that I use takes care of most instances. And then for the drop points and the tantos, the curves, then you put that foremost. You put the tip foremost and the rest of the knife follows behind it. The tip becomes what you're trying to balance, and you clamp that right behind the vise. That's the best way to utilize two different angles with one clamping position. So finding the sweet spot. Finding the sweet spot with the marker is the way that we learn to do this. The balance with the center point. It's the way that I learned to do this. This took care of most instances. Then you can try, put a little marker on there with your light and just make sure. If you're scrubbing out there at the tip and you see with your flashlight where the ink is removed, you see the reflection and it's not where you expect it to be, then you either have to move the knife so that you place the knife right where the stone is and go at it that way, reposition the knife, or you have to change the stone by changing the angle to match the knife. You only have two choices because it's a fixed position knife and a fixed angle sharpener. We're trying to find that sweet spot balance to make the stone, which is a fixed angle, contact that all along the knife. Find the sweet spot. Use your marker. So this knife, the tip is, I can see that the tip is too low because I'm already removing too much as compared to there. It's a balance between here and there, finding that angle, finding the sweet spot. Thanks.